Nikola Jokic has been so dominant that he has won the NBA's Most Valuable Player award 3 times over the past 4 years. But because voter fatigue exists, as unfair as it seems, the bar that Jokic needs to overcome to potentially win his 4th MVP award this season has been set too high by both the fans and the media. But so far as the season goes on, it seems like seeing the Joker joining the likes of Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James as the only players to become at least 4-time MVPs is becoming more and more of a possibility. Because right now, Jokic just seems to be clearing all the standards that everyone has set for him, no matter how unfair those might be. He's currently putting up video game type numbers, averaging 29.7 points per game, which is the 5th best mark in the league, while his 13.7 rebound and 11.7 assists per game average actually both lead the entire NBA. But it's not just that, Jokic is averaging a triple-double on career-high numbers. What's even crazier is that those numbers have huge historical implications, as no player ever before in NBA history has led the league in both assists and rebounds per game in the same season or even in separate seasons. Even the 2 players who average a triple-double over a full season in Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robertson never actually led the league in both assists and rebounds per game in the year they average a triple-double. Although in the past, there have been 5 instances when a player has finished in the top 5 of both rebounds and assists per game in the same year. 2 of those came from Jokic when he did it the past 2 years, while the other 3 times came via Hall of Fame players like Wilt and Bill Russell more than 50 years ago. Nikola Jokic is just simply redefining what averaging a triple-double means in the modern NBA, but then to top it all off, so far, he's also currently averaging 1.7 steals and 1 block per game, both of which are also career highs. Well, for sure, critics would keep talking about how MVP award winners should only come from the best teams. The Denver Nuggets aren't on top of the Western Conference standings right now, but they've won 7 of their last 10 games after losing their first 2 contests of the season, and a lot of that has got to do with how Jokic has been impacting the scoreboard. Over the 10 games he's played so far, when Jokic is on the floor, the Nuggets have been outscoring opponents by 11.3 points per 100 possessions while putting up the best offensive rating in the entire NBA by a mile. But when Jokic is on the bench, Denver is being outscored by more than 23 points per 100 possessions while also putting up what would be the worst offensive rating in the entire NBA. That massive plus 34.6 point differential from Jokic is the highest in the entire NBA so far, which is insane even for Jokic's standards, as it's also the highest point differential he's put up in his entire career. So what's good everyone, it's Real Balls here, and in this video, let's talk about how Nikola Jokic got even way better this season and why even the narratives might not stop him from winning a 4th MVP award. So let's get to it. A huge factor that has contributed to Jokic boosting his scoring average this season has been the fact that he's currently handling the ball more than ever. While Jokic has been leading the NBA in front-court touches per game each of the past 6 years, but this season though, is operating near the basket much more. So far, Jokic is again leading the league with almost 64 front-court touches per game, but the crazy thing is, the gap between him and the second placer, Jayson Tatum, is almost as wide as the gap between Tatum and Pascal Siakam, who is at 44th place. And obviously, when you put the ball in Jokic's hands when he's around the paint, opponents are just bound to get outclassed. Jokic's combination of size, strength, footwork, and touch allows him to either power his way to the rim, shoot a floater over defenders, or drain a quick turnaround jumper when the lane is a little bit crowded. But then, more frontcourt touches for Jokic also obviously means more chances for him to dissect defenses to create easy scoring chances for teammates, resulting in his career-high assist average so far. In this possession, you can see Jokic operating on the post, backing down his defender against the Raptors zone. As soon as Jokic hints at pivoting to the paint, you can see how all 5 Raptors collapse into the lane, allowing Jokic to easily find the open Christian Braun on the corner, who drains the 3-pointer against the late closeout. Then in this play, you can see Jokic starting off by setting a high screen for Braun. Now, Braun getting deep into the baseline forces the Mavs to trap, which forces the much smaller Dinwiddie to switch on Jokic on the block. As soon as Jokic touches the ball, he already sees the gap on the weak side and he makes the laser dime to the cutting Julian Strawther right under the basket. Well, obviously, with them having one of the most dominant and most cerebral offensive players in history, it always made sense for Denver to play a more methodical, slow-paced game in the half-court to allow Jokic to consistently break down defenses. But now, with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope out, with a fast-paced Russell Westbrook in, and with young energy guys like Christian Braun and Payton Watson having elevated roles, the Nuggets have also made a conscious effort to pick up the pace. So far this season, it takes Denver an average of just 8.8 seconds to get a shot off after grabbing a rebound, which is the 4th fastest mark in the entire league. Last season, they actually ranked 24th in that category, and they ranked 21st 2 seasons ago when they won the NBA title. At the heart of this change is Nikola Jokic, who has been letting outlet passes fly, making ridiculous open court dimes look easy while also running the floor himself. In this play, you can see that as soon as Jokic gets the rebound, even while Payton Watson is still in the backcourt, Jokic throws the outlet pass precisely where Watson can get it, as he just powers his way to the rim for the transition bucket. Last season, the Denver Nuggets only spent 16% of their possessions in transition, ranking 23rd most in the entire NBA. But this season, their transition frequency is up to 20%, which is the 6th highest in the entire league. But then, Jokic isn't just powering this faster pace by simply dishing out long full-court dimes. He's also starting transition plays by utilizing his instincts and quick hands more on the defensive end, which has resulted in him averaging career highs in steals and blocks so far this season. In this play, you can see Jokic on the lane trying to contain Kyrie Irving on the fast break. Watch the Joker strip Irving on the drive, and as Westbrook recovers the ball, Jokic just runs down court immediately, sealing the low block against the smaller Dinwiddie, making him the easy outlet as he finishes in transition. Then in this play, you can see Jokic guarding the Raptors' empty corner pick and roll. He does a good job of pressuring Jakob Poeltl on the catch. Jokic gets a piece of the ball on the shot. Poeltl gets a second chance, but Jokic forces him to miss again. Then off goes Jokic with a rebound as he just starts bringing the ball down court himself, bulldozing his way to the paint, which forces 3 defenders to clog the lane, allowing Jokic to find Russell Westbrook on the corner, who drains the open three-pointer. But then, moving on to the rebounding department, a huge reason why Jokic has been putting up career-high rebounding numbers so far is because of his increased effort on the offensive glass. After not averaging more than 3 offensive boards per game for his career, Jokic is now averaging 4.5 offensive rebounds per game alone. And basically, this shift also means that his league-leading rebounding average is even more valuable, due to the fact that across the NBA this season, second-chance opportunities are currently producing more value than regular half-court possessions. Well, this is how statistically dominant Nikola Jokic has been to start the year, but then again, only around 1/8 of the season has been played. There's always a chance that the Joker's numbers would regress a little. And to be objective, one reason to expect regression is that Jokic's current assist numbers might be a little bit inflated by some hot shooting from his teammates, as according to NBA Advanced Statistics, his teammates are currently shooting way above league average 43% from deep out of Jokic's passes, as opposed to his teammates shooting just around 37% from deep out of his passes since he was a rookie. Also, Jokic is a good 3-point shooter, but is currently shooting 56.4% from deep on 4 attempts per game. Jokic has simply never shot more than 39% from deep on the same volume before. But still, even if his 3-point shooting numbers dip a little bit, it's actually encouraging to see him shooting well again, after he just shot 26% from deep in the 2024 playoffs and just 17% from deep in the Olympics. But what's actually scary for opponents is that even if Jokic's 3-point numbers regress as the season goes on, he would probably start making more of his 2-point shots anyway, as so far, Jokic's 60% conversion rate at the rim is the lowest he's put up since his rookie year, and his current 27% mid-range shooting percentage is also his lowest since the 2018 season. But then, probably the main reason to expect some regression from Jokic comes from another one of his career highs this season, which is his minutes per game. Currently, Jokic is averaging 38.1 minutes played per contest, which is also the most minutes that Jokic has played over a 10-game span in the regular season during his entire career. Well, the Nuggets have leaned so heavily on Jokic so far because the roster has been obviously short-handed due to some injuries to Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, and partially because they've already played 2 overtime games this season after going to overtime just once all of last year. Overall, 7 out of the 10 games that Jokic has played so far have been really close until the end, meaning the Nuggets have had no meaningful time to find rest for Jokic. Denver has needed every little bit of his production so far, and Jokic has delivered and has been nothing short of spectacular in the clutch, as so far, Jokic has scored 38 total points in the last 5 minutes of games when the score is within 5 points, which is the second most points in the clutch this season, only behind De'Aaron Fox. And in those clutch minutes, Jokic has been shooting a solid 57% from the field and 60% from behind the arc. Still, the huge workload I think is a concern for Jokic given the short off-season break he's had due to the Olympics, and even though Jokic is one of the best playoff performers in NBA history, the Nuggets need to somehow keep him fresh for the postseason. Only 3 players are averaging more minutes than Jokic so far, and 2 of them, Kevin Durant and Tyrese Maxey, have already been injured. Well, the thing is, if Jokic somehow drops from playing 38 minutes to around 35 minutes per game, which is his previous career high, there's probably a huge chance Denver won't have a real shot at being the top seed in the Western Conference, given how much they depend on Jokic to power their wins. Then on an individual level, if Jokic decreases his playing time to remain fresh until the postseason begins, there's a possibility that he won't continue leading the league in rebounds and assists per game this season. Still, the crazy thing is, even if Jokic fails to average a triple-double this season, I think his case to win MVP might still remain stronger than ever, because on a per-possession basis, the current 11.6 offensive Bucks plus-minus rating he's putting up is still blowing away the all-time record set by Steph Curry during his unanimous MVP season. Also, Jokic's current 33.3 player efficiency rating is on pace to shatter the previous all-time high single-season PER record, which was also set by Jokic himself last season. Well, at the end of the day, it is natural that NBA fans will be looking for fresh stories and brand new narratives to explore throughout the season, the same way the media talked about how Joel Embiid was due to win his first MVP award 2 seasons ago. The same will go for other superstars like Jayson Tatum, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, and Anthony Davis, who are all primed to win their first MVP awards this season. And for sure, each one of those players will definitely make solid and compelling cases to win by the time April comes. But if the Denver Nuggets somehow end up as at least a top 2 seed in the Western Conference, and if Nikola Jokic maintains this kind of generational impact and continues to break records, I think it's just gonna be hard for voters to deny him another MVP award, no matter how high the standards are. So, thank you guys if you've actually made it this far into the video, but what do you guys actually think will it take for Nikola Jokic to win his 4th MVP award this season? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and again, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. Again, this is Real Balls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.